Heartwarming girl dresses in her mother's maid uniform, billionaire's unexpected kindness reveal. Emma stood in front of the mirror, feeling the weight of the sparkly fabric on her shoulders and the discomfort of the name tag pinned to her chest that read Maria. Her heart raced as she thought about walking into class wearing her mother's maid uniform, something Maria had worn proudly for years. At just 12 years old, she was about to reclaim her identity from those who ridiculed her. Today was not just another day, it was a chance to show her classmates the true meaning of a hero, her hero. As she stepped into the bustling school hallway, Emma's breath hitched. Laughter and chatter surrounded her, yet it felt like they were in another world where she never quite fit in. She could see the expressions of surprise and some not-so-nice smirks as they spotted her uniform. It felt like a spotlight was shining just on her, and she felt exposed. But deep inside, a fire sparked. Her mother worked tirelessly to give her a better life. Emma couldn't hide that anymore. For months, she had endured countless jabs about her mother's job. "Is that why your mom never has time for you?" They'd sneer. "Guess you don't get much fun at a maid's house." Each comment chipped away at her self-worth, leaving her feeling smaller and more isolated. But today, that all changed. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As she entered the classroom, whispers erupted. Laughter bounced off the walls, but Emma's eyes searched for anything supportive. Heart pounding, she found her stance at the front of the room. With wide eyes and trembling hands, she shared her mother's story: the long hours, the dedication, the love that made their home cozy despite the struggles. With each word, Emma felt powerful, as if she were reclaiming her narrative. Mr. Thompson, a wealthy businessman attending the school's charity event, wandered in, curious about the commotion. His polished surroundings felt distant as he overheard the mocking giggles. The hurt on Emma's face echoed in his own memories of growing up disconnected from the lives of everyday people. Something stirred inside him, grudging admiration for the girl before him, braving the world's judgment. As the applause erupted after her presentation, Emma's heart soared. But Mr. Thompson's comment of, "That was incredibly brave," rippled through the crowd, igniting anger among the elite gathered for the charity. They viewed his words as misplaced praise, as if acknowledging a lesser meant debunking their lofty lives. Later that evening, when Emma lingered near the event, unsure and anxious, she locked eyes with Mr. Thompson again. Seeing the discomfort mingle within him sparked fury and courage in her. "You need to understand, when you applaud courage in me, you need to truly see those who work tirelessly behind the scenes. It isn't just a presentation, it's our lives." With his future hanging in the balance, Mr. Thompson looked torn. Could he break the walls of privilege? Emma's moment of bravery was just beginning to unfold, and the truth loomed large in the air. Hope flickered in their exchange, but for how long? Emma's heart raced, torn between hope and doubt, as the uncertain result of their lives played out in silent tension. As the echoes of applause faded, Emma stepped back, her heart still pounding in her chest. She felt proud but also vulnerable. What was next? Could she really change anything? Mr. Thompson shifted awkwardly, his eyes darting back to the group of well-dressed parents who had come to support the charity event. They whispered amongst themselves, some glancing at Emma with a mixture of disdain and curiosity. She could almost hear their silent mocking, accompanied by the clinking of champagne glasses. They didn't understand. They probably never would. But she needed to believe one person could. "Emma," Mr. Thompson finally spoke, his voice a mixture of hesitation and sincerity. "That took real guts. Does it matter?" Emma shot back, her cheeks flushing. "You can stand there and admire me, but what does that change? Do you understand what it's like to be the butt of every joke? His brows furrowed, and for a moment, she thought he might slip back into the comfort of his privilege. But then, something shifted in his expression. I didn't get here by being blind to struggle. I just what? She interrupted, frustration bubbling over. You just put money in a plate and call it charity. You're not the hero here. My mom is. The rawness of her words hung in the air. Mr. Thompson stepped back, visibly taken aback. But Emma didn't care. She was done hiding. For so long, she had softened her words, muting her true feelings in favor of fitting in. Today, that girl was gone. I thought maybe I could help, he finally said, his eyes locking onto hers. Astonishment flickered within her. Could he really want to? Did he mean support for her mother, or did he grasp that their lives were intertwined? The tension between them buzzed. Did he see her mother's hard work, her relentless effort to provide? Did he truly want to bridge that chasm he lived in? Emma felt a flicker of hope igniting within her, tempered by the doubt that had been her constant companion. Help how? She managed, each word laced with cautious curiosity. What does that even look like? I could help you get your mother a better job, his voice softened. One with respect and maybe even a little more pay. A chance to show that her work matters. Your strength is inspiring, Emma. She stared at him, mouth agape. This was unexpected. But then a surge of skepticism swept over her. And then what? She becomes richer while you sip your wine. How often do you think about the real people that work for you? His face fell, and Emma could see the conflict within him. She felt the walls around her heart begin to crack. He was wanting to change, but could he really? Was he willing to step down from his pedestal, face the gritty reality, and challenge his own community? Can you guarantee that you won't be just another rich guy making empty promises? She asked, her voice unwavering. A silence cloaked them, heavy with uncertainty but also possibility. Emma stood her ground, fixed on Mr. Thompson's expression, waiting for a meaningful response. She needed to know if they could start something real, not just another fleeting moment of sympathy. Would they together challenge the very foundations of their lives? Wordlessly, he reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a business card, handing it to her. I can't promise I'll get it right. But I can promise I'll listen. Let us talk, Emma. Really talk. Emma took the card, her heart racing with both fear and exhilaration. Could this be the chance they'd been waiting for? A new path emerging amid shadows? As she turned to leave, she glanced back at Mr. Thompson. He stood as a figure of uncertainty, but perhaps also of hope. The journey to reclaiming their lives was just beginning. Would she take the leap, or would fear hold her back? Emma was at a crossroads, and her choice could change everything. Emma stood in the lingering glow of the event, the business card heavy in her pocket. She could feel it like a tiny weight, a symbol of both hope and dread. What if this was her moment to push through the barriers that had held her family back for so long? But what if it all crumbled to dust, leaving her even more exposed? She took a deep breath, her mind racing. Walking out of the venue, she noticed the world outside had transformed. The night sky was heavy with stars, the air crisp and inviting. It felt surreal, as if the universe was daring her to take the plunge. What would it mean to trust Mr. Thompson? To truly believe he could help? She caught sight of her reflection in a store window. The girl staring back at her was fierce, determined. Emma wished she could harness that energy into something more than a fleeting moment of bravery. Thoughts of her mother flooded her mind. She remembered nights spent together, the aroma of simple home-cooked meals filling their small kitchen, the words of encouragement shared over budget planning and hopes for a better life. "We'll make it," her mother would whisper, fighting against the weight of their situation. Emma had always promised to make her proud, but in that moment, with Mr. Thompson's offer echoing in her ears, she realized that her fight was not just about her, it was about them, and a new future. Later that night, Emma lay in bed, staring at her ceiling, her heart pounding as she replayed their conversation. She wished she could freeze-frame that moment, the anticipation of change, like a snapshot before a jump into the deep end. It terrified her, the thought of failing, of being laughed at again, gnawed at her. Yet, somewhere deep within, a small spark of courage began to glow. Wouldn't it be worse to never try? To allow fear to hold her back when the chance of freedom dangled so close, just out of reach? She envisioned her mother, radiant with pride, their lives transformed by a single decision. Dawn broke as she sat up, her resolve solidifying. Emma grabbed a notebook and began to jot down thoughts, ideas, and questions. She had so much to ask Mr. Thompson. She wanted to know how he planned to change things and if he truly understood the impact of his actions. After breakfast, Emma made her way to school. Each step felt heavier with purpose. As she arrived, she noticed the usual cliques, the laughter, and the whispered jokes echoing around her. Today, though, she held her head higher. She refused to let their scorn seep into her heart. In the midst of lunch, as she sat with a couple of close friends, Emma's phone buzzed on the table. It was a text from Mr. Thompson. "Can we meet today? I want to discuss how we can make a real impact." Her heart raced. This was it. It was happening. But the excitement twisted into gnawing anxiety in her stomach. What if he changed his mind? What if it was all just talk? Gripped with a mix of hope and fear, she showed her friends the message. What should I say? They exchanged glances. One friend leaned in, sincerity in her eyes. You have to go. This could be huge for both you and your mom. Just be yourself. With her friend's encouragement propelling her, Emma texted back, agreeing to meet later that evening. She felt a flame igniting inside. Maybe, just maybe, this could be the start of her family's greatest chapter. As she walked through the school halls, a familiar feeling of anticipation washed over her. But in the midst of her resolution, a shadow crossed her mind. Did she really know enough about Mr. Thompson? Was this too good to be true? The day stretched ahead, loaded with possibilities and whispers of doubt. Emma knew she'd have to confront her fears head-on, peeling back the layers of uncertainty surrounding this opportunity. How could a simple conversation change the trajectory of their lives? And as the bell rang, signaling the end of the day, all she could think was, will this meeting be a turning point, or just another dead end? She clutched the card tightly, determined to find out. Emma paced her room, the sun dipping lower behind the houses across the street, casting long shadows. The hours passed too quickly, and each tick of the clock nudged her closer to her meeting. She glanced at the notebook filled with questions. What if she stumbled over her words? What if Mr. Thompson dismissed her ideas? She took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm of anxiety swirling inside her. In those last moments before leaving, her mother's voice echoed in her mind. Remember, Emma, life is about choices. Choose to believe in yourself. Those words felt like armor as she stepped outside into the cool evening air. Emma could feel the buzz of the world around her, cars moving, people chatting, a dog barking a few streets away. This was real, and she was stepping into it. The coffee shop where they were meeting was just a few blocks away. It was a cozy place, filled with the rich scent of roasted beans and the hum of light conversations. Emma walked in, her heart racing, and scanned the room for Mr. Thompson. A wave of relief washed over her when she spotted him sitting in a corner booth, looking relaxed but focused as he tapped away on his laptop. As she approached, he looked up, and a warm smile spread across his face. Emma. I'm glad you could make it. He gestured for her to sit down. Thank you for meeting with me, she said, plopping her notebook on the table, feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. Of course. I'm eager to see how we can make a difference together. He leaned in, genuinely interested. Emma could see the kindness in his eyes, and it bolstered her confidence a little more. I have a lot of questions, she started, flipping open her notebook. But first, I'd like to know how you got involved in helping families like mine. Mr. Thompson paused for a moment, considering her question. I grew up in a small town where opportunities were scarce. I worked hard to change my situation, and now I believe it's my responsibility to give back. Seeing others succeed gives me fulfillment. His story ignited something in Emma. I want to make a difference for my mom and our life. But I'm worried. She hesitated, fear creeping back. What if this doesn't work out? Emma, every journey has its ups and downs. The key is to keep moving forward and be open to change. His words held weight, and she hung on every one of them. She poured her heart out, sharing her hopes, dreams, and fears, and Mr. Thompson truly listened. As he spoke about ideas and plans, Emma felt the fire within her grow brighter. This was it. This was the moment she had been waiting for, and she couldn't let fear drive her away. The meeting carried on, filled with laughter, ideas, and a vision of a future Emma hadn't dared to dream before. But deep down, she still felt a tremor of doubt. What if this was just a fleeting moment of kindness, and when the sun rose again, everything would shift and she'd return to her old life? Finally, as their conversation began to wind down, Mr. Thompson leaned back and smiled, his eyes twinkling. Emma, I really believe in your potential. Let's work together to make this happen. Her heart soared, but the doubt lingered. Could she trust this feeling of hope? Could this man really help change everything? Can I ask you something? She ventured, treading carefully. Of course. What happens if it all falls apart? He paused, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. Then we learn and rebuild. But I promise, I won't let you fall without a safety net. Those words clung to Emma as she walked home, the weight in her pocket feeling a little lighter. Yet, with the flicker of hope flickering bright, one big question loomed: was she ready to risk everything for a chance of what could be? The next morning, Emma woke up with her heart still racing from yesterday's meeting. The sun peeked through her curtains, illuminating the room in soft golden light. She felt a sense of possibility. Today could be the day everything changed. But a whisper of doubt flickered in her mind. What if she wasn't enough? Emma pushed those thoughts away as she dressed for school. She rummaged through her closet, choosing an old, slightly oversized sweater that always reminded her of her mother. It was comforting, like a hug, yet a part of her felt uneasy. Should she show up like this? After all, she was about to leap into a new world, one where she needed to exude confidence. But she let the moment pass, deciding the sweater was just right for her. At school, the halls buzzed with chatter. Students moved in packs, smiling and joking. Emma hung back, her notebook tucked under her arm like a shield. She watched as friends exchanged stories, or at least, that's how it looked from where she stood. In her heart, she felt like the outsider, wondering if they saw the same glow of promise she felt. Algebra class passed in a blur of numbers and muted laughter. But as she walked to the lunchroom, Emma's focus shifted. There sat Jess, her closest friend, a pop of sunshine in a vibrant t-shirt. Jess was animated, laughing easily, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Emma felt a surge of warmth. She hadn't shared much about her meeting with Mr. Thompson, afraid it might shift their dynamic. Jess had always been the confident one, and Emma feared her dreams might feel small in comparison. Hey! You're glowing. Jess said, beaming at her. What's up? Emma hesitated, feeling a familiar knot in her stomach. Just excited about some things, she replied, trying to keep it vague. Jess narrowed her eyes knowingly. What kind of things? Spill. Emma sighed, her defenses crumbling. I met with this guy, Mr. Thompson. He's involved in helping families like ours. He wants to work with me on this project too. I don't know, make a difference. Wait, really? That's amazing. Jess exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. You have to tell me everything. As they chatted over sandwiches, Emma felt herself lifting. Jess wanted to hear about her plans, her hopes. It felt freeing to share, and soon the conversation flowed, filled with dreams of what they could accomplish. Jess's excitement mingled with Emma's nervous energy, and suddenly, it felt like the weight in Emma's pocket had transformed into wings. But just as their laughter filled the table, the lunchroom doors swung open, and in walked a group of seniors, led by Chad, the rugged quarterback with an air of confidence that turned heads. He flashed a smile as he strolled towards them, and Emma's heart raced for an entirely different reason. Why was he coming over to their table? "Hey, you two. Heard you've got your sights on a bright future," he said, leaning over Emma with an easy grin. "Care to share?" Emma was taken aback. She had always admired Chad from a distance, but in moments like this, feeling small and unsure, she struggled to find her voice. As laughter erupted from his friends behind him, the moment turned electric and overwhelming. Was this a chance to shine, or would she fumble and fall? Just then, the bell rang, cutting through the tension. Grateful for the interruption, Emma gathered her things quickly, feeling her heart thumping. She barely stuttered out, maybe later, before darting away, leaving Jess with a lingering expression of confusion and concern. As Emma walked home, thoughts tumbled in her mind. She had been so close to stepping into courage, to sharing her dreams. But fear had crept back in, grabbing her tightly. What would she do next? Could she really embrace this journey that awaited her, or would she continue to shy away whenever the spotlight shone her way? And as she stood at the crossroads of her own courage and anxiety, a question pulled at her heart: what if today was just the beginning, but she was too afraid to take the next step? Emma didn't wait for a second longer. She hurried home, her mind racing faster than her feet. Each step felt heavy, weighed down by doubt and what-ifs. She could almost hear the whispers of her classmates, the laughter echoing in her ears. Had Chad been teasing her? Or was he genuinely interested? The line blurred, and confusion wrapped around her like a tight coil. Once she stepped into her small house, the familiar scent of cinnamon greeted her. It brought memories flooding back, her mother's gentle laughter as she baked, the warmth radiating from the kitchen, a refuge during storms. But today, the air felt different, laced with uncertainty. She dropped her bag by the door and wandered into the kitchen, staring blankly at the countertop. "Emma?" Her mother's voice broke through, a bright note in the otherwise dull moment. She looked up to see her mother, still wearing the same Maid's uniform she had on each day. "How was school?" "Fine." A curt response, barely meeting her mother's hopeful gaze. Her mother studied her, brows furrowing like storm clouds building in a summer sky. "Just fine. You look a bit pale." "I don't know, Mom. Just stuff." "Stuff?" Her mother echoed. "I've learned that stuff can be complicated. Want to talk about it?" Emma sighed, feeling the dam in her chest tremble. They had always talked about everything: broken hearts, dreams, fears. But this was different. "It's just, school is hard, and I feel like everyone's moving on without me." Her mother stepped closer, wiping her hands on a dish towel. "You know, it took me a long time to find my place in this world. I sometimes felt like I was invisible, even when I was right in front of people." Emma's gaze dropped to the floor. "What if I'm just not good enough?" Her mother knelt down to meet Emma's eyes, their connection palpable. "You are more than enough. And sometimes, we only need to take that first brave step. You're just starting on your journey, and it's okay to be scared." Those words hung in the air. Emma choked back the tears. "But what if I freeze again, like today?" "Then you try again. And again. Courage isn't the absence of fear, honey. It's standing up in spite of it." A flicker of warmth spread through Emma's chest. Maybe her mother was right. Maybe she could take a step forward, rather than back. Deciding to act, Emma pulled her notebook from her bag. I'm going to write down what I want to say to Mr. Thompson. I'll practice it until I feel ready. That's a good plan, her mother encouraged, pride glimmering in her eyes. Emma felt bolder just from sharing the idea. She flipped to a blank page and began to jot down her thoughts. With each word, her heart felt lighter. Later that evening, a knock at the door interrupted her focus. Her mother answered it, only to reveal Mr. Thompson standing on their doorstep. Emma's stomach dropped. Was this a bad omen or an unexpected opportunity? He smiled, a genuine warmth in his presence. Hello, Emma. I was hoping I could speak with you for a moment. Emma froze for a heartbeat, suddenly wrapped in a whirlwind of emotions. This was the chance she'd been too scared to seize. Now, with her plans just half-formed, how could she respond? Can we talk about your ideas? He continued, stepping into the kitchen. Emma's heart raced. This was it her moment to step forward or retreat back into uncertainty. Would she find her voice when it mattered most? With bated breath, she took a small step closer. Maybe the magic of that moment would propel her forward. But what if she stumbled instead? Would she allow fear to silence her dreams once more? Emma stood there, her palms clammy and her pulse quickening. She could feel her mother's encouraging presence hovering in the background, yet the kitchen's warm familiarity felt like a distant memory. Let's start with your thoughts on the project, Mr. Thompson said, his voice steady and inviting. Emma glanced at the notebook she had been scribbling in just moments ago. The mixture of fear and anticipation churned inside her. Okay, she finally managed to utter. The words tumbled out like stones, heavy and uncertain. She hesitated, searching for a way to bridge her thoughts and emotions. I was thinking about how we could explore the impact of community service on local families. It's personal. He raised an eyebrow, encouraging her with a gentle nod. I mean, my mom works really hard, and I see how it affects us at home, how it affects her. Emma felt a surge of courage. I want to show that there's a real human side to these projects. It's not just about the work, it's about the people involved. Wow, Emma, he replied, visibly impressed. That's a powerful angle. I love that you're thinking about the emotional aspect. It's not just numbers, it's lives. He leaned in, clearly invested in her words. A flicker of pride ignited within Emma. For a moment, she felt as if she were floating above doubt, her worries dissipating like mist in the morning sun. This connection, this validation, was everything she had hoped for. She continued to speak, her voice steadier. She shared ideas about interviews, community stories, and ways to connect the project back to her peers. As she spoke, Mr. Thompson's eyes sparkled with interest. He tossed in suggestions, sparking a lively discussion. Emma felt as if they were building something together, each word stacking momentum like bricks in a wall of newfound confidence. When she finally paused, a breathless smile on her face, Mr. Thompson clapped his hands together. Emma, I can see you're really passionate about this. I want you to know that you have the talent to succeed. Your perspective matters. The realization settled over Emma like a warm blanket. She wasn't just a timid girl in a classroom. She had something valuable to offer. Just then, her mother returned from putting away groceries, a curious expression crossing her face. Is everything okay? She asked, glancing between them. Everything is more than okay, Mr. Thompson replied, a broad grin lighting up his features. Emma has some fantastic insights on our upcoming project. She's going to make it extraordinary. Emma's heart soared. She turned to her mother, whose eyes were gleaming with pride. In that moment, they shared a silent understanding, a deep connection forged in love and hope. Wow, that's amazing, honey, her mother beamed. The warmth in her voice enveloped Emma, pushing away the shadows of doubt. Thanks, Mom, Emma whispered, still feeling the pulse of exhilaration racing through her. As Mr. Thompson gathered his notes, Emma felt an excitement bubbling within her. She would take this opportunity and run with it, turn it into something tangible, something that could truly touch lives. She would not be afraid anymore. But just as Mr. Thompson turned to leave, he paused at the threshold. "Oh, Emma, one more thing: if you ever feel overwhelmed or need more guidance, I'm just an email away. You got this." "Thank you," she replied, her voice breaking slightly. The support felt almost surreal. After he left, Emma stood in the kitchen, the smell of cinnamon still hanging sweetly in the air. Her heart swelled with newfound determination. She turned to her mother, a question already forming on her lips. "Mom, what if we did a little community project together? Something that could really help people?" Her mother smiled softly, eyes sparkling with pride and hope. "I think that would be wonderful, Emma." But deep inside, a new question lingered: had she finally found her voice? And what would it mean moving forward, with all the possibilities stretching out before her like a horizon waiting to be explored? The next morning, the sun streamed through the kitchen window, casting warm rays on the breakfast table as Emma sat with her mother. They had spent the night brainstorming ideas for their community project, a happy whirlwind of thoughts spilling all over their notebook. Emma's heart raced with a mix of excitement and nerves. "All right, Mom," she said, her fingers gripping the edges of the table. "What should we tackle first?" Her mother looked thoughtful. "Community cleanups? Food drives? Or maybe something to help the elderly? There's so much to choose from." Emma's thoughts flashed to her neighbors, the daily struggles they faced. An image of Mr. Jensen, who lived alone and always had a frown on his face, surfaced in her mind. What about organizing a neighborhood meal share? We could bring food to those who can't cook or don't have family nearby. A look of admiration crossed her mother's features. "I love that idea. It's personal, just like your project. You really have a gift for connecting with people." The pride in her mother's voice calmed Emma's nerves, giving her strength to chase this dream. Later that day, the two of them stepped outside to see the neighborhood. As they walked down their street, Emma felt the thrill of possibility in the air. They stopped by Mr. Jensen's house. The garden was overgrown, and the paint flaked from the old wooden door. She felt a tug at her heartstrings. "Let's knock," she suggested, inhaling deeply. Emma hesitated, but her mother nodded encouragingly. "It's all about taking the first step." They approached the door, and Emma raised her hand, knocking gently. The door creaked open, revealing Mr. Jensen, his face creased with surprise. "Well, hello there," he said, squinting in the sun. "Hi, Mr. Jensen." Emma's voice was shaky but excited. "We're here to invite you to our neighborhood meal share. We'd love to bring you dinner once a week. You can join us, too." His expression softened, uncertainty shifting to a cautious smile. "That's very generous of you, Emma. But you really don't have to." "Yes, we do," she interrupted, her enthusiasm bubbling over. "You've lived here for years, and it's important for everyone to feel included." He studied her for a moment. Something in her gaze, a spark of determination, seemed to reach him. "All right," he said slowly. "I'd be honored." The relief in Emma's chest was immense. They left Mr. Jensen's house feeling like they had already made a difference. As they continued their walk, her mind raced with visions of what could unfold, a chain reaction of kindness rippling through their neighborhood. That evening, as they sat at the kitchen table once more, planning out the details, Emma could hardly contain her excitement. Her mother leaned in, resting her chin on her hand, watching her daughter bloom. "Emma," she said softly, "you're doing something truly beautiful. It takes courage to lead, and you're doing it." Emma felt warmth wash over her, but just then, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Mr. Thompson. She opened it and read, "I shared your project idea with the community center. They want to help you get started." Emma gasped, spinning around to her mother, her eyes alight. "They want to back us?" "Looks like it." Her mother laughed, her joy palpable. But as the thrill of success washed over them, a new concern crept into Emma's mind. What if we can't meet everyone's needs? What if they don't want us there? Her mother placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Sometimes, it's the bravery to just try that makes all the difference. And you're not alone in this. Heart pounding with hope, Emma nodded, thoughts racing. If they could pull this off, it might change everything, not just for her but for her whole community. But lurking in the back of her mind was an even deeper worry. What if her newfound courage led to something beyond her control? What if their small success showed her just how large the scope of the emotional journey ahead truly was? The next day was a blur of activity. Emma could hardly sleep the night before, her thoughts swirling with plans and ideas. The sun had barely risen when she found herself at the kitchen table again, her notebook open and ready for new ideas. "Okay, Mom," she said, her voice full of determination. "We need to create a flyer for the meal share. If we want people to join us, we have to get the word out." Her mom smiled, clearly proud of her daughter's energy. "Great idea. We can include our contact info and a list of what meals we bring. Let us also make a big sign for the community center." As they began crafting the flyer, Emma's mind fizzled with anticipation. Would anyone really come? Would they understand the importance of this meal share? She bit her lip, wondering if her enthusiasm would be enough to tackle her worries. Once the flyer was ready, they ventured out to the community center. The air was crisp and filled with the scent of fresh-cut grass. Emma's heart raced with every step. She imagined faces, unfamiliar or familiar, turning to look at her as she explained the project. What if they didn't care? What if they didn't want to help? At the community center, the walls were bright, scattered with art made by local kids. Emma inhaled deeply, drawing courage from the lively atmosphere. They reached the office, and her mom tapped lightly on the door. Mr. Thompson welcomed them with a warm smile. "Emma. Glad to see you again. I told the staff about your project, and they're excited to jump in. We've organized a meeting for you this evening." Emma's heart soared. The thought of working alongside the center staff filled her with hope. "What should I prepare?" "Just come ready to share your vision. The more people hear about it, the more support you'll get," he encouraged. That evening, as she stood in front of a small group of community members, Emma's heart pounded. Their faces were a mix of curiosity and support, and she felt the weight of their eyes on her. She took a breath and began. "Thank you all for coming. I'm Emma, and I'm organizing a neighborhood meal share. The idea is simple: we bring dinners to those who need help. I believe everyone deserves to feel connected and cared for." As she spoke, she saw nods of understanding and kindness. By the time she finished, her voice trembled with emotion. "It's not just about food, it's about community showing each other we matter." Silence stretched for a moment before a woman in the back piped up. "I'd love to help. I know of a few neighbors who could really use a meal. Count me in." One after another, people voiced their support. They shared ideas, offered to cook, and promised to spread the word around the neighborhood. Emma felt an overwhelming wave of gratitude. Her heart thumped wildly, and tears of joy pricked her eyes. But as the meeting faded, doubts returned. What if they faced obstacles in the process? Launching a project was one thing, but sustaining momentum was another challenge entirely. That night, Emma lay in bed, feeling a mix of excitement and anxiety. The thrill of the evening buzzed just beneath the surface, but the uncertainty loomed larger. What if the initial enthusiasm faded? What if they faced criticism instead of support as they made progress? As these thoughts bounced around, Emma realized the journey was only just beginning. She was stepping into the unknown, and the possibilities felt endless. How could she muster the courage to lead in moments of hesitation? And most importantly, what surprises awaited her on this path she had started? The sun peeked through Emma's window, warming her face as she prepared for the day ahead. Today was the day they would launch the neighborhood meal share. The excitement bubbling in her chest was palpable, but so was the uncertainty pricking at the edges of her thoughts. What if no one showed? What if the food preparations went wrong? Her heart raced at all the possibilities. Savor the day, sweetheart. Her mother called from the kitchen, filling the home with the rich smells of breakfast. Emma smiled at the reminder of the importance of overwhelming joy. Breakfast wrapped up quickly, her mind already swirling with checklists. She found herself rifling through their handwritten notes, the menu, volunteer duties, and logistics plastered all around the kitchen. Ready? Her mom asked, looking encouragingly at her. More excited than ready, Emma admitted, glancing at the clock again. I just want everything to go well. It will, Emma. Just remember what you're doing this for, her mother said, squeezing her shoulder gently. You've already inspired others. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, Emma nodded firmly, allowing her mother's words to sink in. They stepped outside, the sun spilling warmth across the neighborhood. People milled about, a perfect canvas of potential camaraderie. As they arrived at the community center, Emma felt her stomach flutter with nerves. She could see early volunteers setting up tables, excited chatter traveling through the air. Mr. Thompson waved her over, his usual kind smile putting her at ease. Emma. The volunteers are here early. This is your moment. He said enthusiastically, as he pointed towards the bustling team arranging decorations for the event. Emma took a deep breath, taking in the sight of friendly faces working together. Thank you for this, she said, I really couldn't have done it without your help. You have something special in you, Emma, he replied, his voice sincere. This community needs more leaders like you. Taking her cue, Emma stepped into the center of the room, her hands raised, her heart pounding. Can everyone gather, please? She called out, her voice steady. The noise quieted, and a circle of attentive faces turned towards her. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming together today. I'm so excited about our meal share. We have so many people to help, and you all are an essential part of this. Together, we can spread warmth, love, and a true sense of community. Applause rippled from the gathered neighbors, filling her with courage. Emma facilitated discussions, assigning roles and establishing connections. People volunteered to cook, deliver meals, and continue the initiative beyond just one day. The joy radiating from the room coiled tightly around her heart, giving her breath and momentum. Families began to arrive, eyes sparkling with hope, their plates filled with specialties from different cuisines, each a piece of their love. The room filled quickly with laughter, conversation, and the shared experience of good food. Emma felt love filling the air like a warm embrace, soothing and uplifting all at once. Emma. Over here. Jess waved, holding a plate piled high with spaghetti. Seeing her friend reminded Emma of the endless support they had fostered together. Looks delicious. Emma exclaimed, leaning in for a taste. They laughed together, and Emma felt overwhelmed with happiness. Yet, as new families arrived, she couldn't help but glance toward the door, hoping to spot Mr. Jensen. She wanted him to see how joyful this gathering had become. A figure appeared in the doorway, and Emma's heart lifted. Mr. Jensen stepped into the room, his expression shy but intrigued. She rushed over, excitement flooding her voice. Mr. Jensen. We're so glad you could make it. I wouldn't miss it for the world. This place is filled with warmth I haven't felt in a long time, he admitted, glancing around as if witnessing something magical. Thank you for including me, Emma. You've really brought everyone together. With each new connection, Emma started feeling an incredible sense of fulfillment wrap around her. Despite the initial doubts, they were creating something beautiful. As the day progressed, they started to distribute the meals. Emma walked alongside her mother, smiles warm and brightening the faces around them. In that moment, she understood the true power of community. People were willing to shed differences and embrace each other through shared struggles, coming together in kindness. Later, as the event began to wind down, a calm settled over the room, allowing Emma to capture that moment in her mind forever. Satisfied smiles glimmered back at her. She felt a sense of triumph surging within her. A journey filled with empowerment had just begun, and it started with a single courageous act. As she looked at Mr. Thompson, who stood on the sidelines, his eyes glimmering proudly, Emma felt emboldened to forge onward. Their thoughts were intertwined, a shared mission to make a lasting impact on their community now burning brightly within her spirit. "Thank you for believing in me, Mr. Thompson," she said, stepping closer to him. "Thank you for reminding me what it means to truly connect," he replied warmly. The sense of hope radiating in that room pushed Emma forward. She would continue to chase transformation, not just for herself but for everyone who felt unseen. Her voice would not falter again, as this was just the beginning. In a world often overshadowed by chaos, she knew they could unify and uplift each other. Together, they shared a vision that spoke to the heart of kindness. What came next felt exhilarating. Emma's heart swelled with pride, not just for herself but for the community they built in overcoming doubt and fear together. And as she prepared to step back into the world, she felt something only heroes feel, true strength and hope blossoming in unity. This was only the start, their path unfolding like the dawn breaking over a brand new day, full of possibilities and the radiant power of change. Now it's your turn. You absolutely need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you. Leave a like now to give life to the algorithm so others can experience this amazing journey. Don't just stop there, comment below your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this heartfelt transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even 1 second.